When life gets crazy busy, and when doesn't it? Walmart helps you keep it all together, now with a little help from Instacart. If you need your groceries now-ish, but your options for going to Walmart are later-ish or never-ish, you can get everything you need delivered through Instacart right to your door in as fast as an hour. Skip the shop and savor more of your crazy busy life with Walmart and Instacart. Visit instacart.com to get free delivery on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Minimum order $10. Additional terms apply.
For 25 years, Stamps.com has made mailing and shipping easy. All you need is a computer and printer. Imagine mailing and shipping right from your desk, anytime. No traffic, no waiting, no hassle. Plus, Stamps.com gives you discounts up to 84%. Sign up for Stamps.com today. Use code PROGRAM for a 4-week trial, plus postage and a digital scale. That's Stamps.com, code PROGRAM.
You just heard the promo. We haven't talked about this, Tommy. Welcome back into Sports Daily. Jacob Albrock, Tommy Castor. We are now the home of K-State Athletics. Big switch for us here on KFH. It's been in the decade I've been on and off the air or so here as part of this radio family. It's been the other way around, but I'm excited to bring in K-State and have conversations and shift now to that level of football program and a growing basketball program and some of the access. And, of course, it doesn't do just a whole lot for you and I because we talk about everybody, right? Like we don't really have a preference in that. It just might create a little more access in different ways. But we'll have all 3 covered for sure. But you will hear games now for K-State here on KFH. So, enjoy that as you will. Congratulations to Blake. Blake, our big winner. Def Leppard, Motley Crue, Alice Cooper. You kidding me? Blake going to Tulsa on us to see it. What is today? Thursday. So we will have 6 more pairs of those tickets to give away before that concert happens on the 16th, which is I haven't even looked at this. It's a Wednesday night concert. So don't worry. Lots of opportunities to still win those as we give things away. We're very generous this time of year. I love giving stuff away, Tommy. It's like this old school radio thing and feel, and I love it. I love giveaways, right?
It's great. I mean, I love giving stuff away, especially big concerts and things like that. It's always a blast to be able to get that access to, go and go watch a big time concert and Def Leppard and Motley Crue and Alice Cooper. That's a major concert. Getting a chance to send some people there on us. It doesn't get any better than that.
Man, I just got a message from my wife. It's raining outside. Is that happening?
Oh.
I'm down here in my basement.
I don't know. I have no windows in this room, so I have no clue.
Yeah, me neither. No windows. We're locked in here, locked and loaded. All right, let's talk some Kansas City Royals. 5 games in a row now, which is, that in and of itself is exciting, Tommy. In a year where we have lacked win streaks, we'll see if they can keep it going. Don't you just know that's coming too? Like some absurd win streak or like winning baseball down the stretch here. But that would be amazing for this organization. Just to give some hope, like it is not hopeless. And here's a reminder of why the answer isn't to just always trade everybody away when you're not succeeding. These players are here for a reason. So the most exciting thing about last night, though, was Cole Reagans, Tommy. Cole Reagans comes over. They were able to get a really nice return to get him in there in the first place. He has a really nice track record. And he comes in, and he's fantastic last night. Fantastic. 8 strikeouts in 6 innings. 94 pitches is all it took him to get there. And, as you look for things in the season to get excited about, well, there you can get excited about it.
Yeah. It's been a while, I feel like, since there's been a pitcher for Kansas City that went out and had that kind of performance. I know that Brady Singer has pitched pretty well as of late. But man, it's refreshing. It's refreshing to see that sort of pitching performance. We've known about the young bats in the lineup for a while now. Some of them are coming through, like Bobby Witt Jr. I think Michael Massey is coming through some. And then there are others that really aren't. But the Achilles heel has always been the pitching for the Royals. That's where it's been for quite a while, both starting pitching and bullpen. They went out in the Aroldis Chapman trade, and they got a guy in Cole Ragans that has shown that he can be an important part of this rotation for Kansas City. I don't know if that means long-term. I don't know if they see him as a guy that can be somebody in the rotation for quite a while, but it is refreshing to see that kind of pitching performance come in for Kansas City. And the fact that, and we've talked about this before, it's always one thing or another. It's like the pitching is good, but the hitting doesn't come through, or the hitting is good and the pitching fails them. In this case, and what we've seen over the last 5 games, everything is kind of coming together. They've got a chance today, Brady Singer on the bump against the Mets, who are reeling. They've got a chance to make it 6 and sweep the series.
It is Cole Ragans projects to the middle back into the rotation, but that matters, right? That's an important thing. I don't know what he'll ultimately be in the big leagues, but I absolutely think he has a chance to be a starter every 5 days in the league. I don't think there's much question about that. And, he was a former minor league pitcher of the year in a pretty good organization. So, those are the kinds, and they didn't really get anybody like that in any of the other trades, and that's okay. But, I think it's important, Tommy, if you're a fan of a team that's struggling, to enjoy it when the times are good. They have not been good basically all year. There have been, 2 times where I think you're like, oh, okay. It was the Aroldis Chapman trade, and we're like, that's a pretty good return. And it was right now in a 5-game win streak.
Yeah.
And watching Bobby Witt Jr. lately. But there hasn't been much. So this sort of becomes like the first time outside of the first, month or so of the season, it's like the Royals for sports people, they kind of become must-see TV, must-listen radio as you're driving around here. As you hear the games, of course, on KFH, like, oh, okay. Let's see if they can keep this going. Let's just see if there's some sort of exciting magic as we, sit in August and make our way through in a season we know won't end anywhere. So, good for the Royals for getting on a 5-game win streak. The other thing I think that matters for, Tommy, are players like Bobby Witt Jr. and some of these young guys. He hit his 30th steal last night, which was what he had as a rookie last year, so he'll exceed that. His numbers are really starting to look pretty good here. And I'm interested to see where they end and how he ends up, but it will be good one way or the other. I'm excited about it. It's and that's saying a lot. I'm excited about it when we talk about the Royals because there hadn't been a lot of that.
You know what? The final record for the Royals could still be 87-75. I mean, they'd have to win every single game out, which is obviously not going to happen. I say that in jest, but they're on a 5-game winning streak right now. Make it another, 62-game win streak or whatever, however many games are left in the regular season. But they do have an opportunity to end this season on a positive note where it maybe won't seem as hopeless as it did a month ago or 6 weeks ago, or even maybe as recently as 2 weeks ago. They have an opportunity to do that. I think if they can play 500 ball the rest of the way out, you start to feel okay about the direction that they're going. But you can't have a letdown. That they've won 5 in a row. You can't follow that up with getting swept or, losing, different series coming up. They've got to keep this momentum going. That's been really difficult for them to do. I mean, they're on a 5-game winning streak, but this was also the first streak that was more than 3 games this entire season, or more than 2 games this entire season. So they've had a hard time following this up. I don't know if they quite know how to keep momentum going, but now's the time to do that.
It is. It is the time to do it. And look, let's be careful with our expectations, but let's just enjoy what's happening now. And now you've got a chance, like, hey, every 5th day when Reagan starts, Let's pay close attention to that. That's going to matter to the future of our organization. Let's watch Bobby Witt Jr. and let's see if they can win some games. Salvador Perez is there. Let's see how much fun this team can have down the stretch. All right, 869-1240 is the number to call. Tommy just sent me a note. There's a Pac-12 reporter saying he expects the future of the Pac-12 to be determined in the next 24 to 36 hours. That's out there for you. I don't know. I don't even know what that means anymore. I just know.
Makes me wonder, if he put 24 to 36 hours and you look at that 36-hour timeline, then you're looking at tomorrow evening, late afternoon, early evening, and you know better than I do because you work in the world of news. Nothing better than a Friday evening news dump, right? I mean, what? Yeah. It's going to be a big deal, but maybe that's the timing they're looking at.
The teams but the news dump is usually when you're trying to avoid a bad situation. Whatever change comes, somebody will be excited about it. And then, sort of the latest with the ACC, I'm looking at a CBS Sports story here here's a quote, and here's why I just don't know. I'm not comfortable with any of it yet. This is a Florida State official, and it would be Florida State's president lamented the gap. We mentioned that. So he's saying we're seeing large media deals that have been made like the Big Ten and the SEC, which in many ways, and perhaps in its exaggeration, have created an existential crisis for Florida State. We will be $30 million per school per year behind in our gap and conference distribution with contracts that are set to go through 2036. Holy cow. The current situation presents a very difficult situation for us. Without increasing revenue, we'll face major challenges in being able to compete in football as the landscape's changing and trying to be competitive in the NIL, coaching salaries, attractive facilities to continue to build the brand and be competitive. Here's where it gets interesting. He says the Seminoles, quote, will at some point consider leaving the ACC barring radical change in revenue distribution. Other trustees were even more candid, Tommy. So this is trustee. What's a trustee? I don't know, but somebody important, it sounds like. Drew Weatherford saying, it's not a matter of if we leave the ACC, but how and when we leave. Another trustee, which I just assume are people with a lot of money, Justin Roth, additionally calling for an exit to come within the next year. I just have a feeling that impacts somehow. Like, here's the question. If the SEC could, without penalty, add ACC schools, do you think it could? Do you think it would be interested? I guess that's the first and most important question.
Yeah. I don't know, because this is all coming from Florida State people, and I said it at the top of the show. Do they even have an invitation to go anywhere else?
I don't know.
So, I mean, they're putting themselves out there.
They would have an invitation somewhere among the three. But, yeah, you better have conversations that say, yes, we'd have interest before you start running your mouth, San Diego State.
Yeah, the other thing that I have an issue with is these schools agreed on this deal for the ACC. That's the only reason a deal gets done, is the schools have to agree on it. And at the time when the ACC locked in their deal, I'm sure that the thought process was, this is going to mean that we will have stability and security for a long time to come. And again, the market changes, right? And I get it. And other conferences are coming in for more money. But at the time, it was almost like, I feel like the ACC and these member schools, they knew and they understood, or at least they should have, that we're sacrificing larger payouts for long-term stability. And in the case of Florida State, I guess it's not good enough anymore. But you agreed to it. You agreed to it.
Well, the conference agreed to it, but I think it's appropriate and okay to be frustrated that conference leadership did not have a proper pulse of the industry. That it's a bad deal. I mean, when you look at it now, it's a bad deal. When you look across the country, if I'm a member, I'm upset that it's a bad deal, because you're going to get lapped, and that's the point. Like, the Big 12 can go to the table one more time, maybe, Tommy, two more times before you can get to the deal. Like,
So
you have
why
to
in the world would these member schools in the ACC at the time accept such a long-term deal where they're getting like long-term security, I guess, but they don't have an opportunity to renegotiate it? I mean, it sounds like ESPN doesn't have the appetite to do it because they know they're getting a great deal. Like, at what point, why would the schools in the ACC have agreed to this?
They lost a negotiation. I don't know how much input. I think you put it on your conference leadership to negotiate that stuff. And if your conference leadership misjudges it and presents it to you as this great thing, you're like, okay, that sounds good. But then, the proof is in the pudding. You look around and you're like, well, we just got fleeced. Like, who told us this was going to be a good deal? You got to have a better pulse of, look, it's no different than the Big 12 under former leadership in panic mode versus a more forward-thinking, commissioner who now has them in a position of strength. So I think it's perfectly fine for these schools in the ACC to be mad because they're going to lose out to good players. They're going to lose out to money. Like, look across the sports world. There's people unhappy with contracts all the time, right? I don't know what their exit is, and I don't know. There's a really interesting story from Dennis Dodd you should check out, and we won't get into it here. It's way too much in the weeds, but it's about potential private equity investors in college athletics. Okay, so in theory, somebody could come in as a private investor and a partner, and the people that would be interested in that would scoff at the buyout fee to try and do whatever it is that they think they can do to make more money.
Wow.
This thing could get crazy. Check out that story.
Here come the Saudis.
Yeah, exactly, right? Check out that story. The one thing about that is our schools are covered up in government and all that stuff. I don't know that the Saudis would be able to as easily jump in unless they became private entities. It's a mess. What's going to happen? All I care about is, what does Big 12 look like? Can we just get to that? I told you I was an impatient person. This has been a really hard topic over the last 6 months for an impatient person to try and navigate. 869-1240 is the number to call. We'll come back. More Sports Daily right after this.
We made USAA Insurance to help you save. Take advantage of discounts when you cover your home and your ride. Discover how we're helping members save at USAA.com/bundle. USAA. Restrictions apply.